Hello, everyone. Welcome into another episode of Fast Money here on For Frequency's Sake. I am Rod Villagomez bringing you the last day of the week. We're going to have some fun with some parlays in our motorsports episode of this show. Again, as we always have, we're going to have a little fun. We're going to parlay a couple of different series. We're going to take a look at some last minute bets. I will say, though, as I'm streaming this live at 2 o'clock on a Friday, books, what are you doing? Quit pulling odds from me. I had a fun parlay that included the Xfinity race, the road race over at Road America. I keep getting yanked. I cannot tell you how frustrating it is to have a great parlay put together only to see a couple of legs of it disappear last minute. So maybe I have to rethink the time of this episode, but I will say we still have some good bets for you today. We're going to have a little bit of fun. Like I said, across the different series, we do have F1 with the Belgian Grand Prix. We've got Xfinity over in Road America in Elkhart, Wisconsin. We have got the trucks and the NASCAR Cup Series in Richmond taking on a short track. Trucks having the last run of the season so far, of the regular season for them before they head into the championship. So, like I said, let's have a little fun. Let's win some money. Let's put together a quick little parlay. This will be a position parlay. It will include Kevin Harvick to finish inside the top 5 of the Cookout 400 in Richmond. We're going to add that with Carlos Sainz to have a top 6 finish in the Belgian Grand Prix. Separately, Kevin Harvick minus 110 to finish inside the top 5. Carlos Sainz minus 143 to finish inside the top 6. Qualifying is over for F1, and we'll talk about that in a second. But let's start with the Kevin Harvick part of this parlay. Kevin Harvick, Mr. Richmond, 3 straight top 5 finishes on this track. In total, in his 44 career starts, the guy's been inside the top 10 30 times. 5 times he's been inside the top 5. I'm telling you right now, he is a fantastic driver on this track. He's a fantastic driver overall. One of the last times, actually, this is the last time he'll be on this track as he says goodbye to the Cup Series after this season. A string of top 5 finishes for him, too, between 2018 and 2019. 5th place in the spring of 2018, 2nd place in the fall, 4th place in the spring of 2019, 7th place in the fall, but that's just outside of the top 5. Followed up with another 7th place finish. Again, Kevin Harvick, don't have to sing his praises very much to convince you that he is a fantastic finisher here. I will also say that he has finished inside the top 4 over the last 2 races. So he's got 2 top 5 finishes in both races. Doug popping on to say, love the shirt. I love the shirt too. Had to rep the company here. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for doing so. Yep, for old school, for fantasy sake shirt on. For Carlos Sainz, end of this deal to get inside the top 6, not really that difficult for Carlos Sainz. In fact, he qualified in the 5th position. And you know much about F1, it's very easy to kind of keep where you're at depending on pit strategies and all that. Rain may play a factor in this race later, but I still like for Carlos Sainz to be able to do it. Last year, he started on the pole in this race, finished in 3rd. Again, not a lot of drop-off. He did lead 12 laps in a season in which Max Verstappen ran away with everything. Sound familiar? It's just like this season. Verstappen qualified on the pole, but now has a 5-placed penalty grid, so he'll be starting deeper in the field, which, I mean, it doesn't make much difference if you're Max Verstappen, but for everybody else, sort of moves him up one. So instead of starting 5th on the grid, he'll end up Carlos Sainz will start 4th on the grid. So that even gives him a better opportunity to keep a top 6 finish, in which he has done 7 of the 11 times that he's taken the track this season. A 4th in Bahrain, a 6th in Jeddah, a 5th in Baku, a 5th in Miami, a 5th in Spain, a 5th in Montreal, a 6th in Spielberg. In the Hungaroring last week, he had an 8th place finish, but Ferrari was not all that good. So, like I said, you take Kevin Harvick as a top 5 finish at minus 110, add it with Carlos Sainz as a top 6 finish at minus 143. That gives you plus 225. It was a lot sexier, folks, when I had Justin Allgaier in there as a top 3 finisher too on this road race. I'm sorry. I apologize. Blame the books on that one. All right. Let's do a matchup parlay. Not very often we do that, but we will in this case. We'll turn our attention to the Cookout 400, in which we are going to take 2 matchups, smash them together, and get a pretty decent plus money price for you. First, we're going to take Eric Jones taking on AJ Allmendinger. That is minus 150 on its own. And then we've got Eric Almirola and Bubba Wallace. That's minus 110 on its own. Put those together, it gets you to plus 218 in these matchups. For the first side of it, look, Eric Jones actually, and this matchup really comes down to the fact that AJ Allmendinger will be racing in the road race earlier in the weekend for the Xfinity Series. He will not be practicing and or qualifying his Cup car. Strange decision. We don't have time to get into the details of it, but he will start at the back of the field. And AJ Allmendinger on this track does not gain a lot of track position when he starts in the back. So I don't have very much faith that he's going to be able to do it again this time around. So, I mean, just the simple fact that he's starting in the back makes this highly difficult for him to move up, especially when he hasn't practiced, especially when he's been driving in a road race the day before and has to fly all the way in. The factors are not there for AJ Allmendinger to be able to put together a good finish here on this track. So already in and of itself, Eric Jones comes out ahead just by that. But we expect Eric Jones to actually have a good solid finish on this track this week. He did finish 9th on this track the last time he was out. So a top 10 finish rather in the fall. And listen, that speaks highly of how his season's going, just considering the fact that his team is about to make a switch to Toyota. He has not done well at all so far over the last few weeks, but he popped out with a 9th place finish in Richmond. I'm sorry, he had a 31st place finish in Richmond earlier this season. I'm getting ahead of myself. He has had a 9th place finish in the last race. By the way, he had a top 10 finish last week. That's what happens when you're scrambling last minute to try to make all these parlays work. But again, Eric Jones, just by sheer fact that he is going to finish somewhere in the top 10 of this race by and large and finish above AJ Allmendinger, we're going to take that for sure. And then for Bubba Wallace on that side of it, Eric Almirola and SHR, good at the short, flat tracks. We're going to back Eric Almirola's play on this one. So far this season has really been a rough go for Eric Almirola, but he did salvage a 12th place finish in Pocono. Look back at his short track history here. He did finish 6th at Martinsville, which is a very promising finish for him on a short track earlier this season. So we're going to rest our attention on the fact that he's going to be able to put together a good run here. And really, that Bubba Wallace is going to struggle. Bubba Wallace on this track, 10 starts, no top 10s, no top 5s. His best finish was a 12th place finish in 2019 in the 43 car. Since he joined the 23 team, his best finish 13th in 2022. Other than that, he's got a 26, 32nd, 26, 22nd. Not good stats on this track for Bubba Wallace. So, like I said, Eric Jones trying to salvage a good season before he moves off to Toyota. So we're going to say that Legacy Motor Club at least has a decent day with one of its drivers over Bubba Wallace on that one. Like I said, by itself, minus 110, and Eric Jones over AJ Allmendinger, minus 150. Put those together, it is plus 218. All right, everybody. That's fast money. Hopefully it was fast enough for you. I tell you, I wasn't fast enough for me to beat the books. So we'll make sure that doesn't happen again next week. We'll get the show out earlier so you can actually have some time, I guess, to beat the books in this one. So, all right. Good luck, everybody. Have some fun out there. Enjoy this fantastic weekend of racing. Hopefully you've already enjoyed some F1 practice and qualifying. And until next week, we'll see you next time. And hey, what's the frequency, huh?